Welcome class. We are going to be doing homework helper 4.4 and we're going to be working on the proofs. Number 19, given that FH is parallel to LK and GF is congruent to GL, prove triangle FGH congruent to triangle LGK. So I look at this and I go FH parallel to LK. Whenever I see two lines are parallel, I know that's a hint that I'm probably going to be using parallel lines with a transversal. We're going to come back to that, but I want to look at the given information that we do have. GF congruent to GL. So I'm going to mark that, as you can see, and they're marked here. So I already have a side, don't I? Which is good. And I'm looking at my drawing, and my other thing that I always try to look for, are there vertical angles that I could use? So I'm looking at this and I see that I have a vertical angle here. These two are vertical angles. So now I have a side and an angle. So maybe there's something else that I could get. Probably another angle. Since I'm talking about parallel lines and transversals, they usually lead into an angle. So first let's write my information down. I already have my given, which gave me a side. And then I'm going to use my vertical angles. So angle FGH is congruent to angle KGL, and my reason is vertical. We'll just abbreviate that. And then I need to, so I've got a side and an angle right here. Put that angle there. So I probably need another angle because I don't believe I'm going to get a side. And my parallel line was my clue. So I'm going to draw those parallel lines separate from its original drawing. So here's FH and LK right here. And here's a transversal that would have been FL. I'm going to draw that. And when I do, I begin to see that I have this angle and this angle as alternate interior angles. This angle right here corresponds to this one up here. And this angle here corresponds to this angle here. In fact, I'll give it a double arc. And now I can see, because of alternating interior angles, if the lines are parallel, they would be congruent. So I found another set of congruent angles. So angle F congruent to angle L. Better erase that, make it look like an L. And my reason is alternating interior angles. And now it looks like I have another angle, and I'm ready to go angle, side, angle. So I'm ready to prove triangle FGH congruent to triangle LGK, and that was because of angle, side, angle. That's 19. Now class, I hope you're following along. Let's look at 20. My given says that AB is perpendicular to AD. AB perpendicular to AD, so I'm going to draw a right angle box. And DE perpendicular to AD, so here's another one. So right there I've got a clue. I've got two angles that are or a set of angles congruent to each other because they're both right angles. And I'm also seeing a vertical angle, so I'm going to mark it. Remember to go back to that vertical angle. And then the other bit of given is BC congruent to EC. So it looks to me like I have angle, side. I just have to get that information in there somehow. BC and EC were a given. There's my side right there. And it looks to me like angle ACB congruent to angle DCE because of vertical angles. And then my final one, here again, I can look at angle A congruent to angle D, and they equal 90, just putting this in there. I'm going to do this into two steps into one, and I'm going to say congruent right angles. Isn't that what we know, that right angles are congruent? And now I have another side, angle. So I have, and here's an angle here. So I have an angle, and a side. Angle, angle, side. I'm actually ready to prove triangle ABC congruent to triangle DEC by angle, angle, side. Okay, let's look at 21. 21 here. Let's see, my given information says Vx congruent to xy, so I've got my congruent marks there. That's one side. I'm just going to write that here. That's a side. And I have xw congruent to yz. There's another side. I've got side, side. Now I can either get a third side, which would be xz, and vw, but I don't know how to do that. But here's my hint. xw parallel to yz. I'm going to go ahead and draw those parallel lines again. And I need to use the transversal. I can use the transversal yv or the transversal xz. But it looks to me, if I'm going to do side, angle, side, this is the only angle I can use right here. So I better use the yv transversal. And now it looks like this angle and this angle, where this is this angle and this angle represents this angle. Those are corresponding angles. So I've got a corresponding angle. So now I'm going to write my information. I already have my two sides. I just need that angle. So I'm going to say angle y is congruent to angle bxw. And that reason, we better put given here. And that reason was corresponding angles. And now I have an angle. I've got side, angle, side. So I'm ready to prove my triangle is congruent. BXW congruent to XYZ. Gotta get that congruent up there. And I had side, angle, side. A little bit of sass. That's 3. And finally, our last one, 22. Our given says to us that TQS, this little angle right here, is congruent to RSQ. So that would be this little angle here, okay? So I've got two angles, and I notice that I do have a common side right here, QS and SQ. So I'm going to give that a side. And the other information it tells me is angle R. Better do a double because I've already got one here. It's congruent to angle T. So if I'm looking at this triangle, I have angle, angle, side. And let's just see if I have it in the other one. Angle, angle, side. Yeah, I've got angle, angle, side going on here. So here's my first angle. Here is my second angle. My side is done by a reflexive, so QS reflexive with SQ. They're equal there. And now I've got it. Angle, angle, and a side. So triangle TQS congruent to triangle RSQ. And the reason is angle, angle, side. So drawing the picture, reading carefully through the given, marking the indicated markings that it gives us. I'm looking for our clues. Our clues were parallel lines, vertical angles, and reflexive lines, right? We're looking for those things as we begin to do our proofs. Good luck, and we'll see you tomorrow.